Chris Cuomo can't stop saying stupid stuff, and he can't stop pointing his finger at AOC and blaming her for everything under the sun. We have another example. Now that the big, beautiful bill has passed, Lisa Murkowski was posting about it on X, saying it was the hardest vote she had to cast in her life. AOC called her out, saying, "You voted to take healthcare away from 17 million people. You voted for people to suffer." And Chris Cuomo couldn't stand for that. No, he got mad at AOC again and blamed her for the situation, writing, "Don't forget, we are in this situation because you took your party so far left that a majority in this country found your party unelectable." Okay, so blaming AOC for the fact that the big, beautiful bill passed, saying she took the party so far left that people didn't want to elect Kamala Harris in 2024. AOC, one of the 435 members of Congress, took her party so far left. A few points. So AOC was actually elected in 2018, meaning that the first presidential election during her tenure was 2020, where the Democrats won. I would also argue that AOC actually made the most noise. She had the highest profile between 2018 and 2020. That was when, of course, she tried to pass the Green New Deal. It got widely mocked. It failed to pass. All the Republicans and a lot of right-wing outlets were making fun of it. She was, of course, criticizing Trump's border policy back then very aggressively during his first term, talking about how inhumane it was with the kids in cages. So she actually had a higher profile back then than she does now. Now you have all sorts of new progressives kind of getting attention, like, for example, Jamal Bowman, who was recently actually ousted. He lost to George Latimer in his primary. But he's one of the people AOC is now, or has competed for attention with post-Trump first term, basically. So AOC actually has kept a lower profile after 2020, I would argue. So in 2024, the idea that the Democratic Party moved far left because of her, I think that's just untenable. I think that you're just making that nonsense up, Chris. He's making it up to do this false sense of enlightened centrism. And you know who that enlightened centrism is designed to help. Inherently, it is helping MAGA. Inherently, it's saying, oh yeah, no, we just need to be more normal. We need to be more centrist. Oh yeah, don't do stuff like supporting universal health care. Don't do stuff like supporting transgender rights and LGBT rights and abortion. And don't support any DEI at all. Don't ever do anything that remotely resembles talking about issues of racism in the United States. That's his point. So I would, if I had to venture a guess, he's more against the social progressivism than the economic progressivism. But little does he know that Kamala Harris actually ran a more socially conservative campaign. A more socially conservative campaign in terms of not really bringing up LGBTQ issues, not really bringing up racial issues. In fact, she explicitly chose not to bring up race when Donald Trump was bringing up race and suggesting that maybe she is not black, saying, I always knew her as an Indian, actually, and all of a sudden she's a black woman. I don't know about that. She was like, yeah, no, whatever. That's just him being ridiculous. What can I say? She didn't say, I am so offended as a black woman. So no, Kamala Harris was not socially progressive on most issues. She did not run far to the left. She was not woke. I do not know what on earth Chris Cuomo is talking about. A lot of Democrats, too, ran more conservative campaigns. 2020 actually gave Democrats more of an opportunity to act progressive, to talk about providing for the American people during the trying time of the COVID-19 pandemic. Things like expanding Medicare, more healthcare benefits, all of those things, stimulus checks, $2,000 just, directly providing for the American people. And then in 2024, Kamala Harris talked about things like price controls. So there was some economic progressivism, but she kind of started to back away from that anyhow. So the issue is not that the Democrats are too far left. By doing this, here's how Chris Cuomo helps the right. That talking point benefits nobody but the right because it suggests that the left is the problem, that the left is actually too far left, while giving the right a pass for being so far right. Defunding rural hospitals, defunding clean energy like the big beautiful bill does. Oh yeah, that's just a result of the far left and making themselves unelectable. No, it couldn't have been the pandemic and its lasting effects, you could say, on the supply chain that caused inflation, that caused people to not feel good about the economy, and the media not reporting some of the good aspects of the economy. It couldn't be that led voters to not vote Democratic or to vote Republican. No, it can't be that. No. Too far left the Democrats went, and that is why the Republicans won, and that is why the big beautiful bill was passed. It's just nonsense. And right-wingers love this stuff. They love this stuff. You know, they love when people are overtly far right, but they also love when people are not far right, nominally at least, but bash the left. Bash the left. They just love using those weapons, being like, look, Chris Cuomo, formerly of CNN, is saying that the Democrats went too far left. When you've lost Chris Cuomo, you have lost everything. You have lost your mind. No, Chris Cuomo is being a grifter. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. He used to be Mr. Russiagate back in Trump's first term. Now he's going around saying, actually, Trump is kind of cool. He got some things right. And let me just tell you, both parties can be really mean sometimes. And the Democrats went too far left. And he threw a temper tantrum, an absolutely absurd hissy fit that I covered, over AOC wanting to impeach Trump for violating the Constitution. You can impeach the president for high crimes and misdemeanors. High crimes and misdemeanors includes violating the Constitution, Chris. An illegal and offensive strike on Iran. That violates the Constitution. Congress did not authorize him to do that. He just declared, I can do it because I'm the president. I'm the president. And that's been the attitude of all too many presidents, honestly, is that they kind of think they can do whatever they want with respect to foreign policy. Trump is the most brazen with respect to both foreign policy and domestic policy. But just blame the far left. The Democratic Party moved so far left, and it's all thanks to one of the 435 members of the House of Representatives. She single-handedly took the Democratic Party so far left that everyone said, gee, I would vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, and I would vote against Trump, but AOC has taken the party so far left, so I'm going to actually have to vote for Trump. I'm going to have to vote for Trump, even though he talks about getting rid of the enemy from within and using the American military on them. That's not too far right. I'm just scared of the people who are too far left. That is what Chris Cuomo actually thinks? People are scared of the far left? Really? No. People voted because, unfortunately, they did not perceive the economy as doing all that well. It's as simple as that. It has nothing to do with transgenderism, nothing to do with DEI or wokeness. No, Chris. So what do you think is going on with this guy? Do you think he's just outraged that his brother lost and trying to find a target, kind of like, so Zoran Mamdani is a New Yorker who beat Cuomo. AOC is a New Yorker, and so he's like, I've got a bone to pick with you New York City progressives. I'm going to fight you. You beat my cool New York City moderate Democrat brother, so I'm going to yell at you on X. It might be that. It might be just trying to pander to right-wingers, because it's very lucrative to try and pander to them. I don't pander to anyone. I don't see I want to make money as someone who just panders to the far left nonstop and says whatever makes them happy, or someone who panders to the far right nonstop. No, I just say what I think. But Chris Cuomo, you have to wonder, how does he go from being this Russiagate neoliberal to this fake enlightened centrist who really is doing right-wing propaganda? How does he do it? Does someone's brain naturally move in that direction? I don't think so. He's in his 50s. He should have more control over himself. There's something weird going on here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. This is the more the merrier, and I look forward to speaking to you in my next video.